Have you ever stood on the edge of a dream so vast that it whispered truths louder than reality ever dared? There is a kind of silence that doesn't calm you. It hollows you. Kyle had lived with that silence for years. He wasn't poor, yet he felt empty. He wasn't unloved, yet he felt unseen. He wasn't lost, but he was going nowhere. Each night he returned home and stared at the wall across from his bed, where the shadows seemed to whisper dreams he no longer believed in. Once he had wanted to change the world. Once he had imagined his name lighting up pages, projects, hearts. Now, now he only dreamed of rest. But on one peculiar night, just before the clock struck 3 a.m., something strange happened. The silence cracked. A light, soft humming seeped through the wall, and a whisper echoed. "You are not done yet." Kale's body collapsed backward, not falling, not flying, but drifting into a void of silver mist and endless stars. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in his room. He stood in a floating chamber, suspended in space. Surrounding him were doors, hundreds, thousands. A being stood before him, glowing, tall, and impossibly serene. "I am Ilaris, the guide of forgotten roads." "Where am I?" Kyle asked. "In the veil between what was, what is, and what could still be." Ilaris stepped closer, touching Kale's chest. "Your soul is screaming, not to be saved, but to be awakened." Ilaris led Kyle to a vast landscape where crystal trees shimmered, each one with a plaque. "A dream once held." Kyle walked past. A burning stage, his forgotten dream of acting. A book with missing pages, his half-written novel. A blue globe spinning, his dream of traveling the world to inspire others. Ilaris stopped beside a dying tree. "This is your voice," Ilaris said. "I stopped believing it mattered." "No, you stopped believing you mattered." Kyle wept, not because it was too late, but because something in him remembered. He knelt, planted a hand into the soil. The tree shivered. Its leaves turned gold. Next, they passed into a canyon where Kale's own voice boomed from every wall. "You're not good enough. You'll only fail again. Why even try?" Each echo cut through him like ice. He dropped to his knees. Ilaris placed a mirror before him. "Speak into it, not to silence the echo, but to overwrite it." Kyle trembled, then whispered, "I am enough. I can begin again. My life is still a blank page." The canyon shivered. The echoes began to fade. Kyle now walked through a quiet city of sleepers, souls slumped over desks, in cars, behind glowing screens. "They gave up on their dreams," Ilaris said. "They stopped listening." Kyle knelt beside one. A young girl, fingers still gripping a paintbrush, now hardened with time. "She wanted to create," Kale whispered. "Then wake her." Kale touched her hand and said, "The world still needs your light." And she stirred. Each dreamer he touched opened their eyes. And Kale realized his journey wasn't just about him. It was about those he would inspire, if only he dared to live fully. He entered again into a deeper labyrinth. Here the walls pulsed with memories. He saw his first heartbreak, his failed business, the death of someone he never got to say goodbye to, each wound replayed in haunting detail. "You must feel them to free them," Ilaris whispered. Kale did. He wept. He raged. He forgave. He spoke aloud. "I release you, and I reclaim myself." The pain, once paralyzing, turned to fire and lit his path forward. A towering structure now rose before him, rooms filled with forgotten talents and passions. Music, languages, public speaking, design, leadership. Kyle walked each level. He picked up instruments. He sketched. He spoke to crowds of dream figures. "I still have this in me," he breathed. "You always did," said Ilaris. Kale smiled, not with confidence, but with conviction. On a beach where stars fell into the waves, Kale saw versions of himself walking into the surf. Each one lived a different life. One was a speaker. One was a healer. One was an explorer. One was exactly who Kale had become now. Who are they? Kale asked. They are you in timelines where you chose courage. Kale stood in awe. Can I still become them? You already are. You simply need to keep choosing. Now, in a golden hall with walls of glass, Kyle saw moments from his future. If he chose to rise. A young boy inspired by his story. A woman who heard his words and didn't give up. A world slightly more alive, because Kale had lived awake. What you choose will echo beyond you, Alaris said. So dream wisely and walk boldly. Kale stood taller. I'm ready. The final door now stood before him, carved in obsidian and gold. Beyond this is your life, Alaris said. But now you carry your entire self. Will I remember this? Your soul will. Kyle opened the door. He awoke. But the room felt different. He stood, heart pounding, not with fear, but with clarity. He opened his window. The morning sun was rising. Kyle took a notebook and wrote, I dreamt of who I could become. Now I will live as him. That day he started a journal, called an old friend, signed up for a speaking class, said yes to creating again, and every night after he slept, not to escape, but to listen. And now, dear listener, what dreams live quietly inside you? What would happen if you chased them, not for perfection, but for truth? The world does not need you to be flawless. It needs you to be awake. So breathe, write the story, open the door, and live.